Well, here I am, back on the case with this Ariel 500 again. A new battery arrived today, a nice compact one. So I fitted that and made all the connections good. Replaced a blown fuse in the live side of the wiring from the battery. And all the lights and everything are working now. I had some fun with this panel light here, and this one's got a long lead on it. You can actually undo it and sort of use it a bit like a torch for map reading or whatever in a day, I suppose. But I've even got that working. There was a short on it because the live wire going to it was bare for too far along where it was soldered in, and it was able to touch the side of its body, and this thing fits like a bulb fits, like a bayonet cap fitting, and it's metal, and so that had been causing a short. That's probably or possibly what caused the blown fuse I found in there. And also, although the lights were all working, there wasn't any sign of any charging, so I thought I'd look into that, and I found, well, here I've changed the Dynamo end cap, as this one had got so hot and bothered. There's one of the terminals from it which I couldn't get the bullet connector on the end of the wire out. It's baked itself in. This was flopping around all loose in there, and there was a loose wire as well on the other one. So I gave everything in there a good going over and made new connections up and changed the end cap. I also polarised it. Basically what you do is you pull the wire out of the F terminal on a Dynamo, and then positive or negative earth, whichever is your live from the battery, you just run a wire from the live terminal. So if you're positive earth, you go from the negative terminal to the F connection on the Dynamo just to polarise it. So I did that as well just to make sure, and then connected it up, started the engine, and I'm very happy to say we've got charging. Someone's fitted a modern solid state regulator inside there, so that's all electronic, but that's obviously working, and I'm going to run the engine in a moment and switch the lights on. I've also I jacked up the rear end so it was clear, the tyre was clear of the bed of the bike lift so I could spin the wheel, and I've adjusted the rear brake as the pedal had a lot of play in it. On these Ariels you can adjust the fulcrum where the brake shoes pivot opposite the cam first. Some cars had it, and it'll screw in, click 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 click, and there's a taper in there. It sort of opens out that end of the shoes, and you open them out until you just get a hint or signs of very very light contact. I wouldn't call it binding, but you might get a slight noise, a brushing noise starting, and that's when you stop screwing that in, and then you make your adjustment up as normal on this one. So I've done that, and believe me, I've taken up a hell of a lot of play. This thing went halfway down to the bed of the bike lift as it was. So that's been done. I've run the engine a week or so ago when I did the oil changes and so on. I topped up the oil in the primary case. I started the engine to check for charging today, and a lot of that oil came out the back of the primary case. Not all of it though, but I think there's a similar issue possibly going on there as what we had on the Triumph pre-unit Bonneville, where perhaps part of the sealing arrangement in the back of the primary case might be missing or damaged, I don't know. But in the case of this, you've actually only got the chain in there to run in the oil. So an easy way out, and not a bodgy one in any way, shape or form, would be perhaps just to sort of spray chain lube in on the chain through this. Open this cap up, nice big hole there, get the nozzle in from a spray can of chain lube and just lube the chain every now and again. That's what I'd be doing if it was mine anyway, because there's nothing else in there that really needs lubricating as such. I think what I'll do now is I'll put the camera down and start the engine and hopefully demonstrate that not only do the lights work, but the Dynamo is also charging. So I'm going to go around the other side and put the camera on my trusty ladder there, I hope. And I'll get up there, hopefully get it started, and then hopefully demonstrate the lights working and it's charging as well. I have had it running not long ago. Right, so I'll just switch the lights on. This light switch has got several positions. The first click puts the tail light on its own. Next click puts the side light on with the tail light, and then the one after that puts your main beam on. And there's no dip switch on this. I suppose it could be adapted so that it could have a dip and high beam, but it's only actually got the one beam. That's full beam, and then presumably you would have gone back to your side lights. And you've got this one here, clock's lit up, but if I turn this one on, you might just see that the oil pressure gauge lights up when I turn that one on. Now, is it charging? Let's see. Charging like a good one. And last but not least, of course, brake light. So basically, we're all good to go. Isn't that lovely? Ticking over like an old clock. And if I hit the decompressor lever, valve lifter, sorry, that'll stop it. So I think this one is all ready to move under its own power. So we might be seeing how that goes fairly soon. But, oh look, see, I've left that light on again. I keep forgetting about that one because that tail light lights up on its own. There we are. Now it's off. Got to try and remember that extra position on the switch there. The extra click. Anyway, it's all working. It's all running nicely, sounds good. I have ridden it up and down the lane and it pulls like a train, this thing. The obvious choice would be to aim it at Bantam Hill possibly. We'll see how things go, but hopefully in the near future we might be able to sample how this machine moves under its own power, because as far as I know it's all ready to do so.